Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein was, to be honest, the only film I was truly looking forward to this year. Unfortunately, it was on Netflix, not widely known to be a friend of theaters, so imagine my surprise when they decided to give it a limited release. And with that limited release, it proved that Netflix is still no friend to theaters because none of it made any sense. I was able to see it here in San Antonio, no problem, but if you were in Orlando, not a small town, you had to drive 60 miles to Tampa to see it, and apparently you couldn't see it in LA unless it was part of a festival. It also doesn't make any sense that Netflix has decided to release Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein on their own streaming service after Halloween. That makes about as much sense as releasing Robert Eggers' Nosferatu on Christmas Day. And this is a bummer because I'm very happy to tell you that Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein did not disappoint, and it's one of my favorite movies of the year. And I have to agree with my pal Alan Ng over at Film Threat that it should be nominated for Best Picture. It's most certainly better than the highly overrated and really woke One Battle After Another. One could say it's this year's Nosferatu, but maybe a little better. And one of the things it's got going for it is a loaded cast, and no, not loaded like in the normal sense in Hollywood. It's actually loaded with talent. Oscar Isaacs, Mia Goth, Charles Dance, who makes every movie better no matter how long he is in it, Lars Mikkelsen, Christoph Waltz, David Bradley, Bern Gorman, and Ralph Ineson. And the standout, dare I say, Jacob Elordi as Frankenstein's monster. As with all things Guillermo del Toro, this is a visual feast. In full disclosure, I'm a fan of the guy. I love Pan's Labyrinth and Pacific Rim and Hellboy and Hellboy the Golden Army. It's also based on one of my favorite comic book series of all time. But it looks like he had unlimited resources for this, so I'm not sure how much money it would have made with a full theatrical release, but it should have had one because I don't think any home theater can do this justice. I hate to sound like one of those critics, but you definitely have to see this in the theater if you can. Everything in the production design, costume, sets, effects, atmosphere, and directing are all 10 out of 10. And when I was done watching it, I told my wife, that was really good, but I'm not sure I'm going to watch it again. Then, of course, I woke up the next morning and I wanted to watch it again, which sucks because this is precisely the kind of movie I would put in my physical media collection. I would love to own a Steelbook 4K loaded with extras, but that's not going to happen. I don't usually give scores, but I'd say the story is an 8 out of 10. It can feel slow in bits. It does have a 2.5 hour running time. And if you're looking for like high octane horror, this is not it. This is a romantic gothic horror science fiction tragedy, just like the book, and it certainly sticks to the tone, but there are some big changes. Despite the book being 100 years old, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. We'll just say the biggest changes are with the creature and the ending. I look forward to the day where I don't have to say this about a film, but it's not woke in any way. Now, there is a smidge of modernity, but if you blink, you'll miss it. Now, some will and have questioned the casting of Oscar Isaacs as Baron von Frankenstein, but he kills it. Obviously, this guy's a great actor who Disney doesn't know what the hell to do with because they wasted him in Disney Star Wars and in Moon Knight. But he pulls off the tortured genius damn near to perfection. Like I said earlier, the rest of the cast is absolutely brilliant. There isn't a bad performance in this. And yes, I'm going to harp on the sets a lot because Frankenstein's castle is unbelievable. And the tech is just cool, and it does play out like a classic Universal horror film, which recently I've watched a lot of. It feels like a Victorian age or Wilhelm age or whatever the hell age you want to call it from the mid-1800s in an alternate universe through the lens of Guillermo del Toro. And if you're not a fan of his work, not sure you're going to like this. But if you are, you're going to love it. Yes, there is a lot of body horror, but none of it felt gory. It felt way more artistic. Now, if you go out and see it or stay home, you might not feel the same way. I was talking to Shad about this on Friday Night Tights, and he was definitely squeamish during some of this stuff. But hey, you can't make a Frankenstein monster without breaking a few limbs, or a lot. And yes, there's a big old pile of heads. As far as the science is concerned of bringing a patched together dead body back to life, well, they go over it a little bit, but they leave a lot to the imagination. Would I have liked Guillermo del Toro to explain a little more on that? Yes. Now that I think about it, this could be interpreted as a superhero or anti-hero origin story. And we know Guillermo del Toro loves his monsters, and they definitely explore the theme of who are the monsters or the men who make them, like the book. But the standout is Jacob Elordi. He is really good as the monster, a monster my wife referred to as Hot Frankenstein monster, and I don't know how I feel about that on so many levels. If I had a gripe aside from the aforementioned science and wanting to know a little bit more about how everything works, I would say maybe it's the pacing. It starts out with a bang, it gets you established in the world. You pretty much know every character thoroughly through actions, not just words. Just a lost art these days. And then it settles down a little bit, but it needs its whole almost 2.5 hours to tell this story. And it's a story of human connection, loneliness, feeling like a freak or an outsider, which is something that is not the domain of the so-called marginalized groups. It's the human condition and something we all go through at some point in our life. And the whole playing God thing and exploring if immortality is something you really want. But overall, I found it to be a rare thing these days, an entertaining movie that was engaging, the acting was top-notch, the directing was unbelievable, and while it is a popcorn, pop culture, high-budget film, it still felt like art, which is still possible when you put the right project with the right person. Guillermo del Toro was perfect for Frankenstein, just like Robert Eggers was perfect for Nosferatu, and I can't wait to see his werewolf. And he's doing A Christmas Carol with Willem Dafoe, proving something that Hollywood has forgotten more often than not. You have a better chance of having a successful adaptation when you put the right creative person with a proven track record on the right project that they're actually passionate about. That's what Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein is. Now, while I was recording this video, he announced that there will be a wider release this weekend, so run and go see it in the theaters if you can, because there's nothing else to watch. And here's your catch-22. Movies like this really can't be made for the theater anymore because of streaming, so now everybody has to rely on streaming to make movies like this. One more good movie in the theater this year, because there's little chance I'll see one for the rest of the year. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for listening this long. I will see you in the next video.
Nerderotic.com. Please subscribe.